think you. Nope. Yeah. Keep coming this. Oh, he can't. That's fucking.
Strapped.
All right.
You want me here or over here?
No, this works.
Both.
That works fine.
All right.
Oh my God, we're live.
Hey.
Hi, welcome to the Rule 62 podcast. This is Rambo Barbie.
I'm Nick.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
Welcome to the show. We are located down here at Will Work for Recovery behind Minuteman Press. The address is 4026 Washington Avenue, and that's in North Minneapolis. We've got a viewing box. You can come and check us out. We got meetings here every night of the week at 7 p.m., bonfires, and all the fun things. So we've got a special guest today from out of town.
Special.
Yeah, special ed. Special ed.
Wish I was special.
Get right up on the mic. Get right up on
I'm
the
on the mic. I'm damn near eating the mic.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to be.
Okay.
So that
All
TV
right.
land can hear you.
Should I be serious like this? Is this all right? Is this good luck?
Do,
All right,
do you
there
know
go.
what the Rule 62 is in
Don't
AA?
take yourself so serious, right? See?
That's
Yeah.
what it is, 100%. Yes.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't? You've watched this and you've been on this 100 million times. You didn't know? Well, welcome to the show.
Hey, progress, not perfection.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What are you doing?
Well, from Hutchinson, what we were just talking about.
Yeah. What do you? So you're one of us, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely one of you. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. First I want to just say that it's such a privilege to be here today, especially see EJ or Rambo Barbie, as you guys call her. I know her as EJ and E and J.
Don't you ever call me that.
Don't ever do it again.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Call me that.
So, anyways, it's a privilege because I talk to her a lot. We talk almost every day, and let me tell you, when it comes to Wednesday, I'm always like, "What are you up to today?" And she's like, "It's podcast day. It's podcast day." And she starts this out at like 10 o'clock with the enthusiasm. So you guys are super lucky to have something like
Aw,
that. I mean,
stop.
seriously, I'm not just making that up because, yeah.
I used to be a big wreck. Yeah.
Who are you?
That's my
Really?
friend.
Yeah,
That's
my
my
friend.
Yeah.
You guys are all my friends. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm excited to be here today to tell you a little bit, I guess, about my story and,
Yeah.
and where I was and where I'm at now. I don't know if you want me to just kick that off or how you guys do things.
Sure. I mean, sure. Usually we have guests and we ask some questions.
Ask some questions then.
Should we ask them questions?
Just ask
Fire.
me questions.
Okay, you got them cards?
I do.
Okay. Where's the sheet? Oh, you got the sheet. Hand me the sheet.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. So usually we hit our guests with like a softball question and then more intense question. And I do want you to speak a little bit about what you've been doing after you got clean later. So,
Okay.
if you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would you choose?
Oh, wow. Wow. You said soft questions. This is a hard one right off the bat. I don't even,
It's a cartoon.
it's a cartoon. I know. I guess Simpsons.
I knew it.
You know what I'm
I
saying,
knew
right? That's what came to my mind. So I should have just said it instead of thinking what would be the cool answer, right? So
You guys got an answer? Who, if you had
I'd
a,
say Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
Okay.
He's a smart little shit.
he is a clever little mouse. Yeah. How about you, Nick?
I would hang out with somebody just like us, Yosemite Sam.
Oh, there
yeah,
you go.
there you go.
I'm torn though between Dexter from Dexter's Lab and oh my God, who is the other one? Frylock from Aqua Teen Hunger Force
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's
or
a good
Master
one.
Shake.
Master Shake.
Yeah, Master Shake.
Meatball?
Is, yeah,
come
Meatball.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll change my answer to that. I like that.
yeah,
All right.
Master Shake. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nick, you got a heavy hitting question, don't you?
Yeah. So I usually ask the deep questions.
All right, let's get deep.
And your deep question for tonight is, does anyone in your family still struggle with addiction? If so, how do you handle being exposed to their addiction?
I do have an uncle. I shouldn't even. Well, I do have a family member who still drinks and stuff like that, and I don't really get exposed to him, I guess, much. I've got a good strong sobriety going, So when I do smell that on his breath, that kind of stuff, I think the biggest thing is to not push my sobriety onto him, because then I found this neat little thing that got me sober and I'm super happy, and you don't have to live like this anymore, and here to navigate that has been the toughest part. But other than that, exposure, that doesn't really get me going at all. So
it sounds like you have some good healthy boundaries.
for sure. Yes.
Okay, cool. I feel like my voice is always really loud on this thing. What you got?
Well, I see a question. It reminds me of my daughter. It says, where'd it go? Where'd it go? What is your favorite Disney hero or heroine?
What?
Disney. What is your
These are harder than his. Disney? What's all Disney? I don't know.
Like
a
Aladdin,
lot of things?
Aladdin, The Beauty and the Beast.
What am I
Yeah, I'm thinking of the classic Disney's too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. What is your favorite?
Cinderella. Say Cinderella.
What's the other one? I can't think of it. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Elsa and
Can
Anna.
I pass on that one?
No, Disney's so broad. You can come up with something.
Jafar. You like Jafar.
Mickey Mouse, then, right? Right?
Sure, Jay. Why not? You're
Is that perfect?
Yeah.
perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
You got to get your face way closer to the mic. Though.
Yeah, this is kind of echoing. So
It's gonna do that. Yeah.
All right.
It shouldn't echo though. I turned the echo off, but
Okay.
I think you need to turn his mic up. I can't hardly hear him.
I
Yeah,
have-
I don't know what the deal is. I'm like right here.
there you go.
Hey,
So I
there
gotta
you go.
do this
Hey.
the whole time.
Yeah, well, don't distort us.
Not
But no,
yet.
but I turned him all the way up. I don't know.
There's a lot of rules here.
Yeah, I think he's doing just fine. I can hear him fine.
Okay. All right. Good. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. So how long you been clean there, Mr. Link?
Mr. Link. Like a little over 19 months.
There
Hey,
you
good
go.
job. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good job.
which is insane.
What was the like everybody's bottom is different, right? And everybody's catalyst that gets us here is different. What would you say was the thing? What was your what was going on? What was your deciding moment to get clean?
Just as soon as you said that, it took me right back. And I think I was like a bottomless pit. You know, the book talks about in AA, the hopeless variety, and I was definitely one of them. That I would go and I would take my life for a drug. And I think what got to me at the end was the drug wasn't working anymore. I had no relief at all anymore. And I turned into this thing that I've always despised. I always looked at people that fiend for drugs, which I was too. I was a fiend, but I always looked at other people, right? And I think what got me was that, man. I was by myself. I was super lonely. I was sitting at my house by myself, and I was thinking, you know, I'd have my Narcan ready, and I would have my dope ready, and I was a shooter, right? So, and it was a 50-50 chance every single day. And I think when you play with your mind like that over and over again, doing that 50-50, sooner or later, you're about to break. And I know the next step was like, you know what, I think I just want to kill myself because I have no clue on what to do from here. So I think my bottom was that. I mean, alcohol, like they say in the book too, is you can't live with or without alcohol. And that was me.
Right.
You know, I think it's very interesting that when he said that, all three of us were shaking our head. Yes, we all understand that.
Right.
And that's an awesome thing about this program is here we will find people that are just like us and people like Nick and EJ that I reach out and I talk to about my recovery, and it's only here that I'll find people like me that want like-minded goals. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
Mhm.
The way you said that is almost exactly how I say it every time I'm telling my story.
Okay.
It's like
Sure.
it got me to a point where I wanted nothing more in the world than to just die
Yeah.
because I had no clue how to live life anymore.
Right.
I had no clue how to do this.
Right.
To do it. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, 30 years of using since I was 11 years old on. It was like, what do you do? Well, I don't know if I want it or I don't want it, but I had to do something. And I think when I walked into a couple meetings, I know my biggest turnaround point was I walked into a Wednesday morning meeting in Hutch at the Elno Club. And, again, dying inside, right? Going to these meetings and trying to cry about stuff and do all that. And then my soon-to-be sponsor stood up and he got 10 years. And he talked exactly like he was talking to me, man. He was like, I was lonely, I was sad, I was bankrupt, I was all these things. And then that's what was kind of the turning point for me.
Okay. And I mean, we know, and I'm sure they know, but everybody else doesn't know that you and I go way back.
We go way back.
We go way back.
We go way back.
Yeah. And it's been a lot. It's been a really tough road for both of us. And I'll be honest, leaving leaving your house was the hardest thing I ever did
Mhm.
after losing the girls.
Yeah.
And I had to. There was just no way I was going to make it out.
Right.
And there's no way you would have made it out.
Right.
You know, and it kills me, you know, all the time, but I think about it in the bigger picture. You know, I've been trying to think more long term than short term because I'm still an addict. I still want instant gratification.
Yeah.
I'm lonely. I'm this. I'm that. And now Akira's here,
Mhm.
and it's a lot. I don't know what I'm doing at all, and I feel very lost and inadequate, and I don't know how you do it. I thought that I was ready, and I think I am, but I think I'm scared that I'm gonna mess up, you know? And so my question, my deep question to you is like, because you've been doing this with both of them, both the kids, long before I have again. What are you doing like for self-care? Because your self-care and my self-care and their self-care looks different. You know what I mean? But like, what are you doing for self-care? Because I know like with her being gone, with me being, I've been gone for a while, you know, but I know that you're in that house and it's the cats and can be a lot, you know, like
Sure.
what do you do for self-care?
You know, I mean, self-care, I do these kind of things. I get fully involved. I sponsor people. I work as a CPRS part-time, you know, and I've got a full-time job. And self-care to me is I'll just stop and just kind of say a little prayer or something like that, you know. I get where you're coming from with the whole not knowing what to do. And I think that's almost, you know, almost a gift of not knowing, you know what I'm saying? Because you really don't know. You never know how things are going to go and stuff like that. So when the kids did first come back, it was tough for me because I didn't have a clue on how to be a dad myself because I was the shell of a human being for so long.
Right.
That when Jackson started coming back around again, especially Kira after being gone for so long, I didn't know that she was going to like me, how she was going to be, and all this kind of stuff. And I just kept thinking that, you know what, God, you know, guide me. And tomorrow will be a better day or different for sure, you know?
Yeah. And you've done a lot of different things in your recovery, right? Like what worked for you in the beginning maybe doesn't work today, right? What is different about your recovery today than it was when you first started your recovery journey?
I was super good at avoidance, you know, in the beginning of my recovery, because everything I did revolved around using. So if I mowed lawn or if I did dishes or I did any of this kind of stuff, it really revolved around using. So I just stopped doing all of it for a long time.
Yeah.
I did in the beginning.
Yep.
And then slowly but surely, like, hey, you know, you brush your teeth today, man. Good job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You took a shower today, man. Good job. You know, like stuff like that. I mean, it sounds crazy to other people, but to me, it was like, okay, you know, without having to get high and all that kind of stuff. So the difference is I just constantly grow. I constantly don't think I know everything. My sponsor said it perfectly to me one day because I'm going through all this kind of stuff in my head and I'm asking him. I said, I shouldn't probably ask you this because I should already know the answer. He looks at me and he says, you know what? You don't know shit. And I was like, that was a moment in my life where it changed my whole perspective. I'm like, you know what? Thank you. And he said, this usually goes one or two ways. Usually somebody comes at me after I say that, or you take it like, you know what a blessing. I don't have to know anything anymore. So that's how I keep my recovery fresh and the things that I do different from when I first started.
I got a question on this though. Yeah. I hate to be the negative side of the coin, but I kind of want to know, in your own personal opinion, what is your biggest vice right now? What is the thing that, you know, kind of destroys you, breaks you down, and then how do you handle it day to day?
Yeah, you know, being in my head is probably one of the biggest things. When things start moving, like I just moved to a different house, I got a different job and all that kind of stuff. When all that stuff starts coming, I sit with it for a while, but then I keep asking God for help, obviously. But I think just going to meetings and talking about it and talking with a sponsor and getting with him, I think that's how I work through things like that, because it didn't get like it's maybe easier to stay away from the drugs, but it's like harder sometimes to get out of your head. I think that's the main thing. Like the drug, they say, but a symptom, right? That's all that was. And now we're trying to work on everything else.
Right.
I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah.
I'm same way. Dealing with life, and sometimes I reach out and I find it's a whole lot easier with communication, especially like I said with like-minded people. So
Right.
awesome.
Right.
Yeah, and we got some people been poking in on us. Yeah. Hi. So you've worked a lot of different jobs as well, right? Like you've worked a few different jobs, right?
8,000. I've been everything, you know.
No, I know, but I'm getting at something
Recently.
still so recently, right? Because like you couldn't, like, I'm spilling your beans a little bit.
Go ahead,
This
yeah.
motherfucker couldn't keep a job to save his life, dude. He's a pro at getting it.
Me?
You're a pro at getting a job.
I mean, weren't we all?
He's
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
but
watch you pointing out me. All right.
Be- listen, because I'm getting to a point. So I was so impressed with your go get. Like you were like, I'm putting in all the applications, I'm gonna get all the jobs, and he would get. I would just be like, how, dude? You look fucking insane. Like, oops, sorry about the F-bombs, but you look unstable. Like, what's happening? And he would get these jobs, and then he would go for a week, and then he would not. And when you got the job at Casey's in particular, I was like, man, this probably isn't gonna last. And you did. And you lasted a long time. And Paul says something around here a lot. He says, any job, better job, career. And I've watched you. I've had the privilege of watching your recovery from a distance. And I've seen you go from being a total flake and pretty much unemployable.
Yeah.
A complete aloof person, especially father and partner, and me too, right? But I've watched you like transform into a person I never expected. I never thought for 1 minute that you would make it longer than a week clean. Especially, I thought you were a hopeless kind for sure. Like I thought I'd never met anybody worse than me. And I've watched your recovery blossom even more beautifully than, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I did a good job this last couple of years, and you've just grown so exponentially. You're an amazing father. You're learning all the time. You correct yourself when you're wrong. You keep trying. You got any job, you got a better job. You're working on a career. Like you're a good son now. Like you're doing incredible things. And I know that you know that, but I don't know. It's been interesting to watch. And I have been humbled by watching your recovery. You're somebody with a couple of months less than me, but we got the same clean time basically, right?
Today.
Right. And we all have our different amounts of knowledge and stuff. And it's just really cool. All the damage that's been done, that we can sit in a room together amicably and be okay. You know what I mean? And both be sitting here with clean time and being gratitude. And it's just, you've really done an amazing job in your recovery, and you're a light for other people. That's really cool to see. And we have a couple of comments. Nicholas Smotter says, do you need us in there? I didn't know we did need you in there. Big O says, we always need you guys all the time. Big O says,
What up, Big O?
Says, hey guys, love you. Wish I was there. He's, Big O, he's sick.
He's sick.
Is he really?
He's got the flu. He's bad.
Can I say one thing about the whole Casey's thing? Like, I think the only reason my recovery is, it's not any better or any worse than anybody else's. It's not. It's just everybody's got their own little things they do and stuff like that. I just went full into it because I knew if I didn't, I would die. And that's not just something I say for like, oh, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like punctual. That's the honest to God truth, and that's what I knew. And it was a way more interesting life to get involved in life. Like in the beginning, it was a little bit scary, getting jobs, doing this kind of stuff. And let me tell you, Casey's, now the grandiose person I am, I wasn't going to get caught dead wearing a Casey's uniform, working at Casey's at a gas station at 40 some years old, because I'm supposed to be up here.
Right.
I'm supposed to be somewhere, and don't you know who I am? And like, I'm supposed to be CEO of the world.
See, and that's why I brought this stuff up, because it's amazing to me that you can talk about that, and not have your ego get in the way. Like you've changed so very much. Like that's a big difference, and it's an inspiration, because I ain't working there for.
I don't want people to
$80
see me in this uniform, and and in the beginning, I was using in the beginning of Casey's, right? And I remember I would see somebody that I would know, and I would instantly go hide. Well, when I started getting sober, the same kind of thing was happening, but I wasn't hiding now anymore. I was like, whatever, dude. You know what? Because in all reality, out of my friend group, everybody's gone.
Yeah.
They all passed.
Yeah.
Most of them didn't make 40. We all know how that is.
Yeah.
So then I started realizing, you know what? Who cares? Who cares if I'm a cashier at whatever? I'm lucky to even be here today. So
Big O says you got to get closer to the mic.
I gotta get closer.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do I
there you
just do
go.
this the whole time?
No,
Or
not like that, but maybe just one hand.
I'm close. I'm close. I can't get closer. All right.
There it goes.
Big
Right
O,
there, right
Big
there.
O, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Are we good?
Yes.
Are we good?
You're good.
So I don't know where I was, but
I'm sorry.
You're
You're talking about
speaking-
Casey's.
it's all
Speaking
good.
about being humbled.
humble,
Yes,
humble. There
yes.
it is. So,
Very
yeah,
humbling.
being humble and then showing up to work like I show up in everything else. Like even if I'm having a crappy day, I don't visit that on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't feel good that day doesn't mean the rest of you don't get to feel good. So I come in no matter what. You'll always see me. I always say this: I'm like a dog with my tail wagging. Every time I see people, that's how I am. Because you know what? That's what it's all about, love. And I never had that before. I hated everything, right?
Yeah.
I hated
Yep.
everything. I mean, it didn't matter what you stood for. I hated people. And now it's like all about love. And I don't care. I don't let fear and not being humble, right? Who cares where I'm-
Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Doing
go.
great. Let's go.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's Casey's or if it's whatever else, it don't matter to me. It's like at least I get a chance to do this because I should have been dead and I should have been in prison.
Right.
Or an institution or nut house or
Right.
whatever. Let's go. You're doing
Should've-
great.
that's what I'm
Awesome.
saying. You should have. That's where I was gonna end up. I didn't just deserve to be here, right? Because if I look at it like that, then Luke and all the rest of them, well, they deserve to be here too.
Right.
So I'm not looking at like God just plucked me out of the air and said, you know what, Chris, I'm going to help you, but not him. I think what happened was God was going to only help me if I start helping myself. And that's the only thing. That was the biggest change in my life. As soon as I started doing that and start being the victim, because I used to sit here and cry when I would go to like Hutch, you know what I'm saying? Crying as I'm going to the dope man's house and then praying to God, please save me. I don't want to do this anymore. Please, please, please. And nothing would ever happen. Well, that's because I'm out here still doing the same thing. I'm still robbing. I'm still lying. I'm still cheating. I'm still doing all this stuff. So why do I expect him to come and save me when I'm not trying to even save myself?
Right.
Why would he save me when I'm out here stealing,
Right.
from somebody? So I think that's the biggest thing is I realize I'm not the special, anything better, anything worse. We're all in the same wavelength. And that's how I really had to do it, is just look at it like that. And it's a almost like an art form. You almost have to do that every single day, man. I have to remind myself where I was,
Yeah. Sometimes it gets easy for me to not necessarily forget, but I get easily distracted, and it using isn't my main focus anymore, so it's other things. And I still am constantly in fight or flight, panicking like a cat dropped in water. And it's, that's some shit I'm gonna have to work on. But like, all of our recovery looks different. We all do different things and stuff. And for me, like, therapy is really important. I always hated it, but it's necessary, and I don't know. My brain's not all with it tonight. My brain's in 100 million places. So I don't know.
But you're still kicking ass.
There you are.
Yeah.
You're doing great
I'm a
job.
little bit emotionally overwhelmed this week. Well, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. It'll be all right.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Talking about different things and this last week, and with my birth father, me finding out that he died of a heroin overdose, like it, that I don't really, people hear me talk about, I don't really have family, and I really don't. What family I do don't communicate unless somebody died, and barely then. And I've always been fascinated with family systems, that. But it's a lot when, you don't know what you're doing. And I think that as a parent, I have these expectations, right? Because I would have expectations of my parents. And expectations will let us down all the time, right? Just feeling a little overwhelmed and in over my head lately. I'm just grateful that you guys are all here and that you guys all still support and love my crazy ass.
Of course.
But I can come and be a mess and it's okay.
Absolutely. And
Sure.
listen. And you think that you're kind of dogging yourself down, but yet I called you for advice yesterday, right? I mean,
I know I'm doing good, and
Yeah,
I try to
absolutely.
not
You're
talk
kicking
shit, but
ass.
like,
We all are.
It's a lot. It's been a lot. Emotions lately. Yeah.
It's really hard to navigate that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Navigate being a parent and all that kind of stuff when all kinds of things happen and you want to do the best thing you possibly can for them. And you feel like you're falling short, but you're not whatsoever. I mean, we get to be present today. It's like my son, too. It's like I get to like sit across the table. I used to be with him all the time, right? I mean, he stayed and everybody else went, but he didn't have much of whatever either. And it's like, you just do the best you can every single day. And I think wonderful. Like I see you today, like being a bright light at Willwork, standing up, and just the way you talk and that energy, that is huge.
I know, because I used to be such a negative all the time.
Super negative all the time.
Suicidal. And shit.
Natural born leader she is.
That's what I'm saying. So like you are doing so good and showing things that, I mean, look at where you were, where we started this whole venture.
I know, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And we're always improvement.
It's like you say, a lot of the women come here, they get a little bit of recovery under their belt, and then they leave.
Disappear, yeah.
And a lot of people call this a beginner's meeting.
Yep, they do.
There is a lot of newcomers that come here, but without people who have a little sobriety under their belt, without people who have worked steps and all that, I mean, where are the newcomers? They need people
like
around.
us. Yeah.
And she sticks around. And no matter where you go, I've been to so many meetings around the cities, and they all have the one thing in common: there's not enough strong women,
right?
For the young women who are coming in there.
100%.
And I admire that about that. You recognize that and you hold yourself accountable.
I try, dude. I really do try.
But I was thinking, as far as your story goes, you were talking about how you got yourself to a point where you wanted to die, right? And I want to know what happened next. Where was your breaking point? Would you go to the psych ward? Did you go to jail? What happened? How did you get into the whole recovery system?
That's what the most insane part of the whole story is.
It really is.
I've never ever been sober since I was 11, right? Never ever been sober outside of an institution. Never once. I would make it a couple days, whatever else. This time I was in an outpatient treatment, and I was trying everything to hold on to this addiction, faking UAs, doing all that kind of stuff. So I thought I would never ever get sober unless you locked me up. That was the only way it was ever going to happen.
Right.
And as soon as I get out of use, this time I was an outpatient, but I really wasn't doing much there. And it's just when I met my sponsor, when I met him, that's what changed my life. So I was on the outside, and I thought a guy like me would never make it on the outside. No way. If I'm around people, there's no way. I just can't do it. So I think I just slowly stopped. I slowly stopped calling the people back that were using and stuff. I'll never forget the one day I was riding bike with Wayne.
Yeah, Wayno.
With Wayno. And a guy I used with. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I hope the best for him.
Yeah, I hope he makes it.
I remember riding bike with him, and I was like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go back to the house and I'm going to get something. And I went back home and I sat there and I'm like, I cannot keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. But I had this feeling in my head like, dude, but you can't say no because you might be missing out on something. You know what I'm saying? You can't. What if this is the last time you ever, and all this kind of stuff was going through my head. And I called Karen from Sobriety First, and I said, hey, I said no today. And she was like, what? She's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, I'm not going to do it. And he came and knocked on the door, and I didn't answer it. I sat back in my room, and I was contemplating, and I'm fighting it. I'm like, maybe I should answer, maybe I shouldn't. And I didn't.
Good for you.
Yeah. So then people like you right there say, good for you. I started feeling really good about myself a little bit. When I come to meetings and they would say, hey, Chris, how are you doing today? I started feeling really good about myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was a huge moment for me. Like, people actually do give a crap.
Right.
If I can say one thing really quick about my sponsor, this is my favorite story about my whole recovery is this. So I'm dying inside, right? I'm in this meeting and this guy gets his 10-year medallion and he's talking like he's talking to me, but I've never met this guy. So anyways, at the end of the meeting, everything's telling me to ask this guy to be my sponsor because that's the thing to do in AA, right? I wasn't 100% doing it because I wanted to quit doing everything, but I was going to do that to show, everybody else, look what I'm doing. So after the meeting, everything, I was about to ask him and everything was screaming, don't do it, don't do it. So he comes up to me and he says, hey, you looking for a sponsor? And I'm like, yes, yeah. Well, sure, we'll do this. And then I said, where are you from? And he says, Stewart. Now, Stewart's a town. I'm sure you guys all heard of it.
It's so big. It's
Sure.
so
Yeah,
big.
sure. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 8 streets. There are 8 streets.
There's 500 some people there, so everybody knows everybody. And anyways, I said, where are you from? He says, Stewart. And I'm like, what? I said, I'm from Stewart. He's like, yeah, I know. You're a couple houses down from me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, when I first moved here 3 years ago, I got told by the lady across the street that red house was the dope house. That was my house.
Right.
Now, my sponsor's so cool. He told that lady, I don't judge because I used to be there myself. And someday, he tells his wife, someday that kid will be my sponsee, I bet.
Huh.
Fast forward 3 years later, there we are at a meeting. And that's when I started coming to believe that there was a power greater than myself.
That's
Right.
crazy.
Right.
I didn't
How
even
do you-
know
How do you
that.
struggle with not believing in God when there's a story like that?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's not that
Let's go.
Not that I struggle with believing in God. It's,
I'm
it's
giving
the,
you shit.
It's the
I'm giving
word.
you shit. I'm giving you shit. Whatever.
It's the word. Because I'm clean and sensitive now, and words bother me now.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
God,
there it is.
my God's name is Sid Acid, to be politically correct. And so I was talking about that. Yeah, all systems intelligent designer.
Okay. All
Acid.
right. I judged right away.
Yeah, you did. I saw that.
instantly.
Your
I'm
little
like,
fake
what is
face.
this? Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was talking about it. Actually, one of my clients remembered that my sponsor recently made me come up with a name for my God. She was sick of me just being reckless and aloof and not having anything to turn it over to. And she's like, and I'm tired of calling it my God or this God or that. She's like, you need a name. So I did. I thought about it for a couple days. Acid. And so I was talking about it with one of my clients remembered that. And I was like, I don't know. We were talking about kids and whatnot the other day. And he's like, see, that's acid. And 2 other dudes didn't know what was going on, They had no idea. And then I was like,
do that.
yeah, he was like, see, that's
They thought we were
acid.
tripping.
He goes, that's acid working in your life like that. And I go, I know, isn't it incredible? My whole life changed when I reached out to acid. And these dudes were just, what is going on? What? Inside joke. Thanks, Leroy.
Perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Acid. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Why would it not? Bone saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bone saw.
Bone saw.
Yeah. Bone
Yeah.
saw.
Mulatto.
Mulatto.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
I just can't get over her. I just can't.
What?
From where we were to where you're at now, I'm just telling you, the enthusiasm, people look for that because otherwise, if I walked into a meeting that was like a jail type setting, and people are all like, I'm not going to look at you, I wouldn't want nothing to do with that. So good for you.
Thanks. Well,
I'm super proud of you. You don't even know, man.
Well,
I'm just,
so I prayed and cried all the time for a female friend. Like,
Yeah, you did.
remember, you would be like, try to be my female friend all the time. You'd be like, I'll be your
no,
girlfriend.
no, whoa, no. I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead. I'm good.
Anyway,
I'm humble, right? Okay.
Petty Manny's right together, right? Something.
Maybe a wig. I don't know.
Whoa.
Maybe what? I'm tall, dude. I gotta do something.
I'm not judging. I don't judge.
Am I the only one?
no, listen,
No,
my-
You ain't the
I'm not-
first
I'm not-
dude to
I'm
wear
not-
a dress.
No, he said wig. He said a wig.
not
A
dress,
wig.
Not dress.
Yeah.
Borat.
Borat.
Trying to catch you.
Borat.
I'd be like,
But no, like it's been really cool because you know how, like, I say it a lot there. I didn't know there was a difference between alone and lonely until I was both. And all the females that were important in my life, whether it was my causing or not, were ripped out. And so females have always been really important, and all those years I spent so lonely, all I had to do was reach out to the hand of recovery, and I have so many sisters and moms and aunts and daughters and cousins and girls and friends and things in this it's incredible.
that's what I'm saying. So there's I don't have a family thing. You got a huge
Oh yeah,
family.
huge family here. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Here. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Miss Gracie throws down for most holidays and stuff. You're right.
Yeah.
You good?
Yep.
Are you crying? I'm not crying. You're crying.
No, I was yawning.
It's pepper. It's pepper in my eye.
So on the subject of a huge recovery family, how do you deal with boundaries?
Real quick. Jess, best friend, says hi.
Oh, hey, Jess, how you doing? Yeah, long
Hey,
time.
Jess,
Hey, I love you guys all.
We love you too.
love you.
I mean, it just because, and that's the reason why I called EJ last time. It was I'm dealing with a friend that I got to set boundaries, and it's just he's emotionally overwhelming, and you know what I'm talking about. I mean, just and I love the guy, but where do you set boundaries? I mean, like sometimes in recovery in these settings that the picture can get so big that it can be overwhelming, and people close down, people shut up, they disappear.
That's what I'm worried about happening actually at the house, because I know that I emotionally overshare and I dump. Like I emotionally, like I fucking, if I feel comfortable, if I feel comfortable, I'll just, I'm learning boundaries too, and it's slow.
It's difficult. I mean, emotions are difficult, boundaries are difficult. I was kind of interested in how you deal with them.
Yeah.
I get boundaries with people in the meetings and stuff like that. You're talking, or like
In life in general, because we deal with a lot of people.
boundaries were really tough. Let me say, just because I was one of them people that I would morph into anything you would possibly ever want me to be, right? So it's taken me a long time to put up boundaries, like, with people, right?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times I can't overexert myself with you if you're not willing to reciprocate a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I actually had a situation with a sponsee that was mad at me because I didn't wake him up for a meeting. And I was like, well, here's the deal. Okay, you got to take some responsibility, because that's old behavior. Me having to wake you up. I'm your sponsor, right? I'm not going to wake you up in the morning. I'm not going to do all that kind of stuff, because you have to take responsibility. And I got that because that's what I needed in the beginning. If I was going to expect somebody else to do that. So I had to set up a boundary in that. And I never thought I would ever end up in a situation like this, but I ended up having to say, dude, I can't with you, because he wanted to argue and say, I'm this, I'm that. And you wanted to say I'm fake. And okay, well then, you know what? Then I love you, but I can't go on like this. I got to be strong, and I can't do that. So if they're not willing to help themselves to a certain point, what am I doing besides prolonging your agony if I don't let you learn? Because I had to do that.
That's awesome. I can see why you had him on.
Yeah. He's a brilliant guy. Yeah.
I don't go that far.
Good recovery. You have a really good, solid recovery, and I know that you're a staple in your recovery community. I also, I think I had heard you talking recently about a new treatment center or something that you're involved in, right?
Well, I'm hoping to. They're starting drug court in McLeod County, so I want to be there and help get that ball rolling any way I possibly can. The crazy thing about the whole thing is a lot of people in recovery not a lot of people, but a couple have told me, well, I wouldn't get into that field because all these people relapse. And I'm like, to me, and I hear that enough that I'm like, that to me that may be somehow true, but I need to be working with all these people. So yeah, I try to get in the ground floor of this whole drug court. Other than that, like treatments and stuff like that, I had 15, I had a second-degree assault, and they permanently banned me from working in a treatment facility. And it's 26 years ago, but because of that assault, they still hold me back. But I found a way to get into recovery by working as a CPRS.
Right.
So
yeah,
they weren't going to stop me. So before that would have threw me for a loop, and I would said, this doesn't work, and I'm mad at the system again. I'm resentful again because you guys permanently banned me from doing that. How dare you? And whatever else, and that would have been the catalyst of sending me right back.
Right.
Or making me not a very good AA member or anything like that in life. I would have been resentful and angry, and I would have kept building on that.
Right.
But there's a will, there's a way, man. There's always that. That's what's cool about living this kind of life, is we always got an option every single day.
It's also, did you got to go to school for that, or you petition with the city, or how do you go about doing that?
The CPRS thing?
No, the drug court. The drug court.
Yeah, I just went and talked to. We're starting a jail meeting in McLeod County.
On the mic.
I started.
There you go.
All right. started a meeting in McLeod County, and I talked to the program coordinator, and I'm going to talk to a judge that I've been seeing since I was 11 years old. So it kind of speaks for itself, because a lot of them are like blown away that Chris Link got sober.
Right.
My PO, everybody's like, doesn't even make sense. And now all I want to do is give back. And I was actually talking to my PO before I got off probation. I'm like, can I help your clients, or is that like a thing we can't do? And she's like, what? I got to talk to somebody, but we'll see what we can do. Because I'm like,
That's crazy. Because just a couple of years ago, we were trying to steal solar lights and
solar lights, yeah,
solar lights, dude.
But they weren't solar. They were electric.
They were ground. They were wired in.
So that's the thing. That was the routine every single day, wasn't it? It was every single day was
Steven getting something over on somebody
else, and I'm not going to work for nothing. Not going to work for anything.
We're going to get all the things.
At the end of the day, guess what? It's your guys' fault.
Right.
Why I'm like this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how I was with my PO. I used to avoid her, not wanting to come talk to her, and then all of a sudden the conversation totally changed. And I said, I don't even care if I'm on probation. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I'll meet you once a month. That's cool. But I want to help out even more. So what can I do? And that's what I'm all about. Can I help? Can I help? Can I help? The DOC, wherever I can, because I've watched people, including myself, burn their lives to the ground and needed a hand, and all they got is nothing. So it's like, well, and there's not enough people out there that, I don't know, at least around I don't want to be negative by any means, but there's not a lot of sponsorship stuff happening. There's not a lot of that. There's a lot of, I'm sober, we're good now, and everybody else kind of good luck, it seems, So to try to change that aspect, to me, is like, if I get a chance to help somebody else, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome that you're going to these. I was going to say, where I think of when I think of going to jail and home for jail is Anoka County, which I'm sure Nick is familiar with.
Most recently.
Yeah. Oh boy. I haven't been in a while. Thank God I'm good. I'm off paper, folks. No, anyways.
Just last week. Yeah. Wow.
The small things. The small things.
Successfully released this time. Not like, hey, you got to go to prison and finish this out. It's yeah.
My PO also changed my life. Great guy. I couldn't thank him more. But like I was saying, they offer meetings there, NA meetings and chapel meetings or whatever. But small group meetings, I'm surprised. I mean, like that they don't have that there. So it's awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah.
So keep it up.
That's what it's about, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to despise my. I used to do it too. I used to fake UAs, push it off. I got COVID.
To keep the misery,
right? And in the end, it was like I call him and he'd be like, dude, you don't have to call me all the time. And I'm like, but I call him just to reach out. He changed my life, So that's awesome that you are, pushing that forward. That's good.
I talked to my PO once when I got sober and I was doing good, and I said, I just wanted to say there was a lot of times I was trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and she looks at me and she's like, oh, no shit.
Yeah.
But at the time I thought, if I come in there with this sad little face, like, please, I don't need to go to prison again. And I could, what I'm saying? If you were me, you would understand that kind of and she put up with that long time, man, because she said, you check every box to go back to prison. And that's where you should go. And that wasn't even enough to stop me. I kept using it for a while after that. So It's like, none of that could.
So the way this conversation was going kind of put something on my heart, or, just kind of had some kind of realization, I think. When Barbie was talking about how it was hard for her to have female friends in the beginning. And then you were talking about people didn't want to join that industry because people relapse and stuff like that. It was, it's been hard for me to make male friends. I'm very comfortable talking to women, not so comfortable talking to guys because I feel like guys are going to judge me. Like I had men in my life that would talk out to me, my whole life. And I had, best friends growing up. My first one ended up with schizophrenia. And, when I was starting to get into girls, he still wanted to play with He-Man dolls and Matchbox cars, and
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
and he developed schizophrenia, and we just couldn't understand each other anymore.
Yeah.
Then, you know, my next best friend ended up getting shot to death. My next one ended up dying in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of like steered away from being too close with any other man. You know, I don't want another best friend, because they die, they go to prison, they end up going crazy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they tell you in this program not to put people on a pedestal, because we're all fallible human beings.
Right.
That means we're able to fail each other.
Right.
And we always will.
Yep.
And I think that in this program, most of the people who you become friends with, and even if it's a sponsor-sponsee relationship, is temporary.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
There's going to be very few people you meet that are going to stick long term, right? And you got to expect that. I think you got to kind of go into it knowing that.
Yeah.
My first sponsor was a really good guy, and he was really deep into AA, and he made sure that I was doing my steps, reading the big book, going to church, hitting my knees in the morning,
Sure.
reading the Bible, reading, you know, like doing all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Little while, and luckily I was able to, like, he had a room to rent when I needed it, and I was staying in his house with him and his wife, and him and his wife were both big in AA, right? A couple months after I moved out, I heard he went back to prison for some domestic shit.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he beat his wife up.
Sure.
And I get a resentment against this guy.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to see him.
Right.
And but you know, after a while, it came to, you know, I realized, you know what, no matter what happened to this guy, when he was at his best, he saved my life.
Yeah. Yep.
That relationship, it did something for me. It was temporary,
Yep.
but it was there for a reason. It happened for a reason, and
For
he
sure.
saved my life.
Yes.
I had a sponsee who had AIDS, and he was my first sponsee, and I brought him up to the North Shore, and we sat on a cliff, and we did his fifth step.
Oh.
It was the most
I love this
beautiful-
story. Yeah.
It was the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
bet.
he died not too long ago from his AIDS.
Yeah.
You know, it was temporary, but it was like, it's those relationships, even if they're temporary, the things that happen, like those are lifelong memories.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And yeah, people will go away, people will die, people will fail you,
Right.
but like, we can't be afraid to have relationships with people, because we're
Right.
afraid they're gonna end.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I spent a lot of my life that way.
Yeah.
A lot of my life that way.
You know, we just speaking on loss, Jessie B, who was this girl that was super strong. Like, I'm telling you, like, she had all her teeth ripped out and put back in, like this crazy 8-hour surgery, and all this stuff. And then she ended up getting cancer and all this kind of, you know. And we seen her waste away. And I go up to her once, and she's like barely got it left, and she looks at me and she says, "But you know what? I'm 9 months sober today." And I'm like, "Yes, you are." And I gave her coin, and it was like the coolest thing ever. But she also passed too. But people like that really showed me that, you know what, life isn't as bad as I try to make it up in my own head. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Because there go I could be the one that was in the hospital room with that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
to watch somebody say, "You know what, but the glass is still half full in my life," even though I'm sitting in this bed. And she was the type that really liked doing all kinds of stuff with animals outside of whatever else. And that was gone.
Mhm.
And this lady stood strong. But when she looked at me and she says, "Everything's kind of crazy, but you know what? I got 9 months." I was like, that is super cool.
Yeah.
You know, good for you.
Yeah.
So it's people like that you'll never get living the way we lived.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There was never any epiphanies. There was never any like,
It was always just a shitty misery spiral.
you know what? I hung out with the same person, stole from Walmart, and I went and fished at a place that never caught any fish. That was my life. And I thought that was it. This is because you can't see nothing else.
Right.
Tunnel vision.
Right.
Tunnel vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did have a lot of adventures though.
Yep.
My God.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Do we have more questions?
I don't know. I was talking to my daughter and whatnot. So sorry I wasn't present. Nick,
Yeah.
you want to ask one more at the deck?
Sure. Go ahead. Finish your story.
Oh.
I'll find some.
What? No, I was just saying goodnight to my daughter. But anyways, I gotta.
How cool is that?
It's amazing. It's
Right?
amazing.
Do you remember that one time I was in one of them, I got to Christ Satisfies, and my roommate had stolen all my stuff. Do you remember that?
Which time?
No, there was the one time that like she took all my like bras, underwear, like every
Okay.
like stuff. We were in New Way together, and he overheard my conversation with you.
Yep.
And had come up to me and he was like, "Hey man, I'm not trying to be weird or be nosy or anything." He's just
Yeah.
like, I just happened to hear what was going on. And he's like, my mom works for Von Mar, and I didn't know what the hell Von Mar was, and he's like,
Swanky.
yeah. So
yeah.
I actually drove by there today. I was like, oh my God, that's Nick Von Mar.
Yeah.
I know that now. But yeah, he came in clutch. I didn't have anything, and
My mother donated a bunch of stuff to
Right.
EJ.
all
So,
brand new
yeah,
stuff.
so,
All brand new stuff.
Yeah. And it was super difficult for me to even come up to her and say it, because at the time, you know how early treatment goes. There's a bunch of douches trying to all hook up, and EJ's over there kicking at people. Hey, get away! Stay away from me! Boys are nasty. She was just freaking
I
out
was
and
an
like,
asshole to boys.
gosh,
I
it's
was
so
an asshole to boys.
it was like super hard to approach it. But I was like, you know what? I think my mom can help her out, and she did, and yeah,
I think I remember that story. Now
Yeah.
you said that.
Yeah,
No.
Nick's
Yeah.
been a good friend of mine ever
That's
since.
what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I actually I just gave my daughter a pair of earrings because I still have all the earrings that your mom gave me, and so she brought me all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah.
She's gonna watch this and love this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So if I ask a question that doesn't apply to you, just say next. All right.
All right.
All right. So how does fear of rejection, judgment, or failure hinder you from moving forward in your recovery?
Wow. It can hinder me if I let it. You know what I'm saying? Like I get nervous, about doing things like going to speak at places and doing different stuff like that. So read it one more time. What was it?
How does fear of rejection, failure,
Failure. Okay.
or I'm not going to find the card again, but
Yeah, no.
How does that hinder? How does that hinder
how
you?
does
How
fear
does
of
it hinder me?
rejection or failure hinder your
I
recovery?
think it'll hinder me if I start talking like I think I want everybody else to hear it. You know what I'm saying? If I think that if I start going back to what I used to do was read the room, and then, okay, I'm going to turn into a chameleon because this is what he likes, this is what she wants to hear, and all that kind of stuff. That's where I'm going to be a hindrance. Fear, I always look fear right in the face nowadays, and I don't hide from nothing. So when I get asked to do something like this or stand up in front of people and different things like that, I do it, man. And I feel like I got to puke every time before I do it. But it's like, you know what? If this is what it takes, because this is what everybody said, then whatever else. But fear, I think, is a huge catalyst in my life, just because I just recently with the job change, man, I'm like, I sit and spin on that for days. Do I weigh it all out? And I weigh it all out, and it keeps me up at night and all that kind of stuff. So that could be a huge stress on my recovery if I start like just rationalizing and thinking instead of doing God's will, I'm doing my will all day long.
Right.
So I think that could be a huge hindrance, but I try to like look fear in the face. If I feel like butterflies about something, I'm going to go do it. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do that. I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm going to speak what I truly believe and what I feel and what I love. Right.
Yes.
So as long as I do that, I have nothing to fear. Right.
No fear. Yes.
That is so true. I know that from experience.
Yeah.
So I got kind of a little story about that. Can I
Go for
say?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I grew up with untreated ADD
Yeah.
and depression. Nobody knew that I had it. Everybody just thought I was dumb when I was growing up because I would forget things, overlook things, get distracted,
Sure.
shit like that, right? Got straight F's through school. And when I got into recovery, I jumped in head first
Yeah.
because when I was in treatment, they were bringing meetings in to our treatment center, and I was listening, and people were talking about having the same problems in life that I did, and they weren't attributing it to being stupid. They were attributing it to having a disease, and they were talking about recovering from this disease and having, being able to live life, right? So I jumped in head first, and I got really into the big book. And every time I would be speaking in a meeting, every time after the meeting, I'd have 2 or 3 people come up and say, "Hey, I really liked what you had to say."
Yeah.
I really liked what you had to say. And a lot of times in the meeting, like after I would speak, when other people would be speaking, they would bring up what I said.
Right.
And expand on that.
Right.
And I start thinking, man, maybe I'm not dumb. Maybe I'm
You're
a
not.
genius.
Well,
I'm a
but
genius.
You're not
right?
dumb.
But I started letting that get like to
In
my
your
head,
head,
and it
dude.
was hindering me, right? So I stopped listening in meetings, because everybody who was speaking before me, I'd be in my head thinking about what am I going to say to impress
Has to be
everybody.
super smart.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody after me, I still wasn't listening, because I'd be in my head saying, say you liked what I had to say, or, talk about what I said.
And if you
right.
didn't, I felt crappy about it.
Right. And
Yeah.
then after a while, people stopped saying that they liked what I had to say,
Nice.
I still like what you
because
say.
that shit
Yeah.
hindered me. Well,
Right,
I've learned to
yeah.
be humble
I
now.
Right.
said that
Like,
once. I said that once during we were talking about ego, right?
Right.
And I was saying that once because a lot of people say you're a light, you're a beacon of hope. And I love that you brought that up, because people were saying that constantly to me, like, "Oh, dude, I just love it too. And you seem so far advanced and all this stuff." So I brought it up once, and I'm like, you know what? It puts a lot of pressure on me. I was running a meeting, so I stood in front of 100 people every Saturday. And I felt like I almost had to be a game show host. I almost had to morph into something all the time. And then I wasn't myself anymore. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
I just love that you brought that up, because that brings back a memory.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Sorry.
We're all looking at
What do
you.
we got?
I see
No, I
that.
was gonna. I want to say, Nick. I mean, look, I look up to you. Because of you and EJ. The reason why I'm sitting in here, I was like, I wanted to make this a regular thing where I come on as a guest, and then old sick, and it was just go ahead and fill in. I was like, talk to EJ. Like, listen, I looked up to you. I was also remedial in school. Like, I got to 9th grade with a 2nd grade reading level. I was, we're not dumb. We're not dumb by any means. And listen, I look up to you.
Thanks, bro.
I like coming to these things, and it's because of these conversations, these
from
the heart, genuine kind of shit that Good Recovery is based on.
So, and when I brought that up, there was an old man that came up to me afterwards, and he says, "You know what? I get the whole ego thing, but he says, you have a gift, and that's what you should use. Everybody in this room's got a certain gift and a certain whatever else. And I feel like if I'm just talking what the book, because if I'm at the program of AA, that's what I talk, right? Because that's that's the program. So I'm going to talk about the big book. I'm going to read that. And as long as I'm doing it that way and with a pure heart, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? But I get what you're saying. There's a thin line between ego and just doing what God wants me to do. Yeah. And if you have that gift and people are like, man, that's a great gift, it's hard to say, well, I'm going to take that away now. You know what I'm saying? At the same point. Yeah, so it's tough, right? I get it.
It is.
I get it.
You gotta when you stop speaking from the heart and start speaking from your head, that's when you start putting your foot in your mouth.
Right.
You know what? I bet I could come up with a way to say that becomes a saying.
I was just thinking of that. Yeah. We gotta formulate that somehow. We gotta break that down some way. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Sports beans. Sports mode.
Hey, by the way, hi mom, dad. They're gonna watch this. They're all excited.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Laura.
Hi. Yeah.
I miss you guys.
So, these are my friends here. So, no, that's gonna be super exciting. My mom, right before I left, she's like, "I want to see it, so send it to me. Send it to me. I'm gonna figure it out."
We're just over here talking big and acting smart. Sure.
Talking big and acting smart. That's what we do. Yeah. But it's super crazy to be in a room full of people that at one point never thought they could be sober for even a second. Yeah. You know, that's how big it is. So when I walk into Will Work for Recovery and I see a whole bunch of people that at one point thought suicide, same thing as me,
right?
The only way out, and couldn't stay sober for a second. And even if they could, they didn't know how long or any of that kind of stuff. So when I walk into a room like this, I instantly feel this energy and this love, and I'm like instantly jacked up about it. And the dog with his tail wagging all over again, because look at us.
I know.
And it's the holidays, and we get to
hey, look, Mom, we made it.
And we get to be there for the holidays. Be present.
Yes.
I mean, who cares about gifts and all the rest of that stuff? we get to be here today. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's what I'm saying. Right?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, that is a good way to end the show.
right.
Thank you so much for coming
I
on.
appreciate you guys.
Hey.
You too. bro.
We have everybody has 30 seconds to, or whatever, however long. Just we give everybody 30 seconds at the end of their segment to plug whatever entity, give a shout out to whoever, whatever.
Well, just me?
No, all of us are
Oh,
gonna
Well,
go.
okay, you
we
start,
usually
you start.
start with our guests.
Yeah,
but-
I'll start. I'll
Okay,
start.
thank you.
We have men's and women's GRH and self-pay sober beds available at Christ Satisfies Transitional Living. You can contact Katrina at 612-483-3969. I almost got tongue-tied. Also, if you have nowhere to go for the holidays, words are hard today. If you have nowhere to go for the holidays, there's generally always something going on at Will Work. I know there's a couple of people here that like to throw down, get together. We will keep you
Throw
posted.
down.
Like food,
Okay,
throw down.
let's verify that.
Yeah.
We're not fighting. up
We're
there.
We're not
doing
fighting. We're not
seeing
throwing
on the
fists for
Christmas.
cripe's sakes. We're trying to live different. Anyway, in case nobody told you, I love you. That's
Thanks,
mine.
man.
Yeah.
What's the address here again?
It is 4026 Washington Avenue, North Minneapolis.
Nice. I'm gonna plug Northwest Twin Cities Handyman LLC. That's my company.
And that number is,
612-417-9957.
and again, that number is,
612-417-9957.
and they're asking for,
Nick.
yeah.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna shout out to all the POs. You heard work dealing with us assholes. You actually changed lives. I know you changed mine over in Anoka County there, so I'm not gonna use his name, but a shout out to him. And to all you guys hating on your POs and trying to pull the wool over their eyes, they're actually trying to change your life. So, wise up. That's it.
Thanks,
And they
Nick.
know anyways.
Hey, they already know. Everybody already
Come on
knows.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just a shout out to the Hutch Alamo Club, and then also RCN out of St. Cloud Recovery Community Network. These people really put people in connection and really try to help people out. I mean, they're really, they come from the heart. I think that's all I got. I appreciate all you guys, man. Shout out to all you guys for
hell
doing
yeah.
this. That is huge,
That's
and I
cool.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love this. This sustains my recovery. Yeah.
It does.
Love you guys. Bye, TV
All right.
land.
Bye.
Bye. And stream.